You're listening to the Sastra Spotlight podcast, real conversations with founders building from zero. Hosted by Tanya Sethi. Let's get into it. Welcome to Sastra Spotlight. Today we're spotlighting Yagub, CEO founder of Polygraf AI. Yagub, great to have you on board. Congrats on the 10 mil Series A. That's amazing.
It was actually seed round, but thank you. I appreciate you.
Seed round is better. Amazing. Yagub, I'll let you kick us off. Tell us a little bit more about Polygraf.
At Polygraf, we are AI security layer for critical operations such as banking, healthcare, defense, insurance, or intel. What we do is that we imagine like the SOC that you know for cybersecurity, but for AI. We have multiple SLMs, which we can talk about it if you would like later, where each one of them are handling critical failure of LLMs within the client control environment. And we do it much better than anyone else in the world, which again we can talk about.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive right into it. LLM, SLM, there's a lot about it. What's sort of the main difference? I know you advocated for SLMs. How did that come about?
Polygraf is my third company and they call me Mr. Paranoid. I cannot even try to trust people. It just is not. I question first, trust but verify, right? So one of the most important elements here was that when we were starting Polygraf, we have my colleague here as well, Yusuf, that critical operations where we are talking about regulated environments, right? And also where environments people die even. They want to automate their operations, but that automation should not come at the cost of their leakage or exposure. So because of that, the deployment need to happen in such an environment that it's self-contained. LLMs could potentially do it. You can make like a smaller LLM, or you could make an LLM that is so-called GovTech or GovCloud-based LLM or something. But then there are other problems within it as well, because privacy is not just based on external party. If you are in a critical environment, sometimes having that data being exposed to the person next to you is a problem as well. You have to think of this guardrailing where we call it AI guard or AI SOC. It needs to be comprehensive. So Polygraf secret marker privacy side as an example, it's one of the 17 models that we have. We have two versions of it. It's 60 megabytes or 160 megabytes. It runs on 8 gigs of RAM, 1.3 gigahertz of CPU, i3 10th gen Intel we are talking about, or anything higher. And these solutions in third-party and internal tests so far has outperformed Google's, Amazon, and Microsoft's DLP solutions, including the Purview that Microsoft is today pushing it forward. The most important thing why SLM versus LLM is that the critical operations cannot have a bottleneck on chips. You cannot go ahead and say a warfighter, you stop what you are doing because I haven't managed to get my A100. You gotta give it whenever they need it, not just when you can do it. That's number one. Number two, they don't carry a backpack of a compatible or compact for them to be able to support that energy consumption that GPUs generally require. So we are talking about computation and energy. And the third part is that they cannot afford leaking anything at all to anyone. So privacy comes as a next part. And SLMs handle all of them, as I've mentioned. The GPU, no GPU, RAM, and since it runs on your mobile phone, you have an adapter, just plug it in there. And that works just as is.
Amazing. So any device, anything we have, we can use this.
Correct. But we are an enterprise or government solution, so we would not be providing these solutions in that environment to a consumer. That's the only underlying point that I would like to make.
Absolutely not available for everyone. Amazing. Okay. You talked about defense a little bit. What other industries would this be a use case for?
So our major focus, I come from finance background overall, retail finance. So we started from retail finance compliance, but also insurance industry, healthcare, compliance operations like law firms, immigration law firms, etc. have been utilizing it. But one thing is very important to mention and underline here is that privacy, compliance, or regulation is not just one niche industry-centric solution. You may have HIPAA for healthcare, but imagine you are a marketing company, you're still under the GDPR. You're still under the CCPA. You still need to abide and follow the privacy regulatory frameworks that is out there that applies for everyone. So Polygraf being an infrastructure solution applies for anything and everything, but we prefer to work with, critical operations.
And all these regulations, they keep changing as well. Is this moving with that time?
Change is natural. human beings, we have been evolving, and the technology is evolving as well. And this is, again, another really great part about SLMs and meta learning that we are utilizing. We can actually adapt to that change. Perhaps we will move in line with the change in almost near real time. That we don't need to be worried about it. Let me give you an example here. When we started, Polygraph does two levels. Like, we protect the outgoing data, we also protect you against the incoming threats as well. Like, imagine, you have your Zoom, Google Meet, Teams calls that you're joining. Currently, 12% of the enterprise level calls that we get to see, they have some sort of a deepfake involved in there. And up to 30% of the calls that we get to see, they have at least AI generated content being involved. So Polygraph would be able to identify your voices being deepfake, as well as, the speech that I'm having today. I can promise that it was not AI generated, or I have not used any AI. But imagine if I were to have included any AI assisted speech in my context, we would also be able to identify that. But here is what I wanted to mention. When the cloud's first version came out, it took us almost 6 months build a model to identify and detect that. The 3.5 came, it took us around 7 days. When then Sonnet came out, we were able to do it within approximately 32 hours. And that's, again, like the beautiful part of doing things in the structure that our team is putting it. And we have an amazing set of PhDs on AI engineering perspective that are coming from George Washington, UT Austin, Georgia Tech. These people are dedicated for national security, protecting critical operations, whether it is the grandmas that are being subject to deepfake infiltration, or whatever you want to call it, or smishing, phishing scams that you get to see that you are due for your toll. Our long-term goal is that we sooner or later will be able to deliver these things to your edge device. That's the main thing. That's why we have been focused on making it run computational light environment, overall speaking.
We were talking about AI a little bit. There's a dark side of AI. We talked about deepfakes and how this can be used in malicious ways. How have you seen the industry evolve over the last few years, and where do you see it heading?
So there is an easy answer and there is a deep down answer. Let me actually give something in there. I even work with churches and so on these days to try to answer this question. The part about this is that we are also playing a creator role right now, which most people are not even addressing it. And there are amazing researchers, even religious leaders that are working on it to be able to put an unbiased answer for this. Because some people are trying to put it in a guardrail, dark box environment, which for a company like us, it's a money opportunity. But we also don't want to treat it as just a money opportunity, because we see that it's a leap forward. It's not a leap around it. We've seen cancer treatment research being accelerated. We've seen terror groups being found faster. We've seen school shooters being identified before they pulled their gun out. And some of these things we have even been involved with. There will always be bad actors out there. And there is a lot of them. But there are also people, especially on the other side, the defense side, that are working day and night to eliminate those people. It's my team's job, it's the Palantir's job, it's the other party's job as well, to deliver the solutions to eliminate those that are using an amazing novel technology for bad purposes. Now, that said, change is difficult. It is inevitable, though. And that change, we've seen it during the .com. At that time, they said the internet will disappear. And today, I don't think you would walk out without your phone.
No.
Right? When BlackBerry went out, I was actually at a financial institution at that time. We were saying, like, we should maybe change it to iPhones and Android, etc. People laughed at it, that we will never get rid of that click button keyboard. There will be time that you will not need to go ahead and start going through the notes, etc., trying to figure out where you might have said something. You just need to mention to your personal assistant, and that will come and tell you what happened. I forget where my keys are at all the time. I'm going to be able to at some point ask. My personal thing is that I actually have my own personal AI assistant that I've built. I call it Jacob. I'm actually calling myself. I've re-replicated myself. I sometimes even chat with it.
Yeah.
And I get to see an amazing result out of it. I want to be able to now say, Jacob, where is my key? And imagine what amount of time saving and nerve saving it would do between me and my wife then. I want to get to that point.
That's the best use case. AI is going to help us save relationships.
Absolutely.
You've had a very, very interesting journey, obviously, coming up to Polygraph. You've launched businesses before, you've had successful exits before. What has that journey been? What sort of inspired you to start Polygraph?
They call me Mr. Paranoid among my close friends. I don't know for how long, but ever since my laptop had a camera on it, there has been a tape on it as an example. I don't easily trust people, and just like you were mentioning about bad actors using AI and other tools, I've always known that for every one good cyber person, there is 10 bad malicious players. So we need to always strive to produce more of them, or we can automate it. And that was the intention behind it. Like as I've said, these automations, however, it cannot be bottlenecked towards like the chip shortages or energy deficiency or whatsoever. We seriously cannot say, hey, bank compliance team or hey, bank insurance risk team, wait, because we don't have enough chip for you to detect that fake insurance claim. Because when the insurances, like as an example, I'll give you a statistic. In the US, insurances are paying $10 billion to fake or malicious insurance claims. $10 billion a year.
Wow.
And guess where it comes at? It comes out of my premium at the end, that my premium is skyrocketing and so on. And if I can reduce it with an automation that I can reduce 32% of it, I'm not even saying all of it, 32% of it, that could potentially mean that I can actually reduce everyone's insurance claim by 5 to 10%.
Yeah.
And that's the impact that we are really, really striving to go forward with.
Amazing. I love that. We talked about building companies. I speak to a lot of founders. Building companies is not for the faint heart. There's a lot of effort. There's a lot of perseverance you need to kind of make a successful business. And obviously, I'm very fascinated about how people scale teams. Who was your first hire and why did you think that they were important and why did you hire them?
Every company, there is generally a founder and a co-founder. There is never founders because someone always convinced someone. So your first hire is always your co-founder. So Vignesh Karumbaya was my first hire, that I would call it. And I'm a chaotic person personally. I cannot, you saw me, to get me here was a chaos. So there is always someone that I need, that, you know, when something is negative, the other one needs to be positive to neutralize it. So that was that. We have Torul Tahirov as an example, who is leading our AI governance operations. We have Yusuf, who is leading our privacy model creations. We have Misal Shahbazadeh, who is leading our desktop operations. Or Eljan, who is leading our provenance operations. Each one of these people that I've just mentioned, they're all PhDs or currently pursuing their PhDs in machine learning, and they are obsessed with the impact, the legacy that they are leaving or they have already left behind. But we are working for tomorrow. The tomorrow has to be brighter than yesterday. We live longer as a humankind today than we used to do 100 years ago. Maybe we can actually double that if you do things properly. But also, if you have a kid, brother, sister, or your own kid, I want to be able to use our models to eliminate school shootings as an example. And we know that we can do it. It's already doing it. I want to be able to eliminate the threats before it becomes a threat, because everything has a fingerprint DNA. Building mission-specific, one element only SLMs that are running within the client's own infrastructure makes the latency go down, makes them be able to do it everywhere all the time without like turning it on and turning it off. And that really excites us. So back to your question, I really had to hire lots of first times, but all of them were warriors.
Yeah.
Fighting for tomorrow.
Amazing. How did you identify those skills in those people? Obviously, technical skills are sometimes easier to judge. You can do assignments for that. How did you judge that they're on board with the mission?
I'm not gonna take the claim for that myself. Like it wasn't me. It was a teamwork. Like you bring an amazing person to the team, and that amazing person gets to see what is needed. And in my team, although I'm the CEO, I don't call myself. I'm not really the C, whatever it is. I work for my team, and my team are the key priority, empowered team members out there that they bring up the necessities rather than, we are not baby birds that are like, well, give me the food, give me the food. We are all eagles. We are all hawks out there that we know what is out there. They see it much better than anyone else. So my leadership style is trusting them, knowing what is needed rather than telling them what we need to have. And when you are operating in an environment that everyone is like appearing as if unified, it's a chain that has been put together. That chain also becomes very, very strong. You cannot really easily break it. And that's why we haven't really had, I dare anyone trying to break our team.
Everyone's still there.
Yeah.
Everyone's still part of the mission. I love that answer. I think we need more examples of startups like that, where people are cohesive, they're on the mission. Obviously, there's chaos in growing pains, but everyone's on the mission. Everyone's there for the long haul, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Clarity within chaos. That's our slogan, by the way.
Amazing. I know you've got a long day, so thank you so much for coming on board. I have one final question for you. What's one piece of advice that you would give to other founders thinking about launching their own business?
So first of all, I don't know any sane person that actually started something. You gotta be very insane to go after that uncertainty, but you need to know that if you cannot bet on yourself, no one is gonna bet on you. So don't half-ass anything, excuse my language. Either do it or don't do it. And when you do it, put 150%. If you are not convicted on what you're doing with your life, you cannot expect someone else that you're going to hire to come and put that conviction in there, or an investor to come and just trust in you just because you're not talking. You have to put 150% in there. That's number one. Number two, get your family aligned, because if you are a parent or whatsoever, you're going to miss that kiddo's best days. I'm missing a lot. And church sometimes, but is this within your mission? And finally, try to have a bigger mission than yourself. Is what you're doing just for the sake of money? If so, there is something called multi-level marketing, and you can get rich quick and damage other people and hope that all those people who are doing that, they rot in wherever it is. But have a mission that you are actually saving things and adding value, because the world we can be made a paradise with the correct people around us. So I wish that you are the correct people who can be counted on making the world a better place.
As a young founder myself, I find that very inspiring, and I completely agree about missing time with family and everything. It becomes your whole life. When you start a business, it becomes everything.
It's a legacy.
It's a legacy. It's what you leave behind. Thank you for tuning in. Follow us along for another Spotlight next week.